Well, hello, hello, hello. It is February 5th, 2014. Today's actually my mother's birthday, and it's a snowstorm. And I tried going out to get my car for service, and they were closed. So I came back, and I figured, you know what? I'm kind of locked in the house. I don't know what to do. I always need to be busy, so I thought this would be a great time for me to make a video for you guys. And it's going to be a video to talk to you about how I've personally sponsored some of the people that I've personally sponsored. We're going to go over that right now, and let's start with Darren Vasquez. Many of you know Darren Vasquez, Senior Director, is doing some remarkable things. I see him being a future ED. He's my level 1. Darren's actually a guy who watched me for a year on Facebook. He watched my post, and what really appealed to him was the fact that he saw me change from a person who became very successful in front of everybody, meaning I went from being mediocre to not really posting a lot of motivational things, not really helping other people. And then he started seeing a change in my personality, and he started seeing me become very ambitious and motivated. And it was that ambition, that success that he saw, that he kept an eye on, that he finally said, you know what, I got to contact this guy. And that's why you have to stay in this business for a long time, because it took Darren 1 year of watching me to finally contact me and ask me to meet him, and the rest is history. Now, Dr. Scott McLeod, another senior director. Dr. Scott was my 5th senior director to make me ED. I met him in the gym, guys. Simple conversation about working out. I asked him what he was doing with his life. He told me he's still practicing medicine. He asked me what I was doing and if I was still bodybuilding, because he hadn't seen me in about 5 years. And that's when I told him, look, I'm getting paid when people pay their energy bills. It's pretty amazing. I get residual income. And he asked me, well, how does that work? And I immediately went on my phone and I started showing him the business presentation right there. I literally did it in 3 minutes. I was excited. He got a picture of everything that was going on. I got his phone number. I told him I'd follow up with him on Tuesday and possibly meet with him on Tuesday. But 2 days later, I ran into him at the gym again with his mother, and they happened to go and watch my website video because he had my business card. And they both were in, and that was it. We went running, okay? So next time you're at the gym and you have a conversation with somebody, talk about your business. Be excited. Okay, wait for them to say something and you say it back. That's how I got him. Now, Simon was a young guy who is a managing director. Simon has the 2nd biggest team for me in all my Ignite business, over 500 people on his team. He himself has only personally sponsored, I think, 4, maybe 5. What happened there was he came into the gym back in August of 2011. He asked me for a workout. I was a managing director, still new, still have not done any of my presentations myself as far as sitting down in front of somebody and doing the whole slide thing. I wasn't really good at that. But what I was good at is being able to tell people a story about myself. So as he asked me for a chest workout, I became Facebook friends with him. And that's really the key right there. A lot of times what I do is I become Facebook friends with people because now I can't lose sight of them. They're there. They're watching my life unfold. I don't even have to talk about Ignite. I can just let them watch my page and let them come to me. But he did ask me for a workout. I said, sure. Got him on Facebook. I asked him if he ever looks for other ways to make money. And he said, sure. And I said, how old are you? He said, I'm 22. I said, you're probably too young. And he said, young for what? I said, well, here's what I'm doing. And I went through the slides really quick on my phone. And he was intrigued. He was intrigued enough to come back to me 3 weeks later and ask me questions. And then he said, you know what, I want to do it. He told me he didn't have the money. Now, I didn't get on him. I didn't get, like, oh, well, you better come up with it, or, oh, you got to hurry up, there's a promotion. I said, you know what, fine. When you have the money, I'll be here. The business is booming. Guys, it took him 3 weeks to get the money. I'm so thankful to this day that he did not have the money. Why? Because he fell into my SD code in the first week I became a senior director. That means people like Bashir, Tariq, Mo, Jasmine, Carol, Annie, who else? All of Ashley's team, Adriana, many of you that are on that branch, okay, would all be in my MD code rather than my SD code. Over 500 people because they didn't have the money. So don't get upset when somebody doesn't have the money. It's okay. Everything happens for a reason, okay? Eric, you guys know Eric. Eric's 2 customers away from being senior director. Eric was on the treadmill. Now here at this point, in my career, I'm a lot more confident. I'm obviously an ED. And I walked by and I said, hey, sorry to bother you. I know you're on the treadmill, but question for you. You came in with a suit and tie on. You're in really good shape. You obviously are ambitious. What do you do for a living? And he said, I work at Verizon. I said, well, If you can get your body in that shape, I'm sure you can make a lot of money. I have an opportunity for you that I think I can help you increase your income. And right there and then, guys, again, the phone, boom, 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 and asked them if he knew people in other states. Yeah, it's great to get somebody in front of a formal presentation, but sometimes you have 1 or 2 minutes to make an impression. You'll never see that person again. You gotta, get their interest. It's almost like, dating. You ever have somebody walk into where you work, or walk in front of you, or you're in school or whatever, and they pass by you, and it's like that 1 or 2 seconds that you see something that intrigues you about that person, that makes you want to say, hey, I want to see that person again. Okay. That's the same thing with this opportunity. You intrigue them enough where they see the information and they want to see it again. It took a little while with him. It took about 2 or 3 exposures in the gym. It was never really a formal presentation. It was me constantly coming in excited and just saying, oh man, my business is booming. We just opened this state, or we just got this promotion. And then finally one night, because he was my Facebook friend now, okay, he saw something that I posted. I bought a condo, and it just put something up in his light switch. And he hit me up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and he said, listen, I want to do this. Could you come over and show my girlfriend and I? And that's how I got Eric, okay? And so you're seeing the social media does help a lot. Even though I didn't sponsor him through social media, it helped because I got him on my social media page. So we have Darren, who is Senior Director from Facebook. We got Dr. Scott, the gym. Simon, the gym. Eric, the gym. Phil Stanbaugh. How did that happen? Well, Courtney Stanbaugh, his wife, again, was watching me travel and following my page. And one day she asked me to sit with her and her husband. At the time, they were engaged. Not even engaged, they were engaged. I sat with them at Panera Bread. Now, it took her 3 months, though, for her to finally get back to me to actually lock a date in. And as you know, Phil and Courtney are my first senior directors, okay, out of my first 5. So, again, Facebook, great marketing tool. Chong, where has Chong come from? A lot of you know Chong. Chong came from on my level 7 because one day I was cleaning my car in a parking lot at LA Fitness, and a young lady came by, Tasha, and she might have made a comment like, why don't you clean my car? Or what are you doing cleaning your car at 9 o'clock in the morning? And I said, because I'm, able to, because I have a home-based business that allows me to have time freedom. And what do you do for a living? Oh, I'm a dental hygienist. I have 2 kids. Really? I said, well, do you ever look for other ways to make money? She goes, oh, don't I wish I could make more money? And I started right there in the parking lot telling her about it, okay? And I was confident. I was bold. I was charming, probably. I probably used a little bit of my charm. And I use whatever I can, right? And I asked her to come to a hotel, and it didn't come out right. She's like, a hotel? What? I was like, no, a hotel meeting. Not a hotel, like where we're going to hang out. It's a meeting in a hotel. But anyway, guys, I got her to the hotel meeting. She signed up, and it brought in Jason Clinton, who's going to Ignition with me. It brought in Kathy, Kristen, it brought in Chong, and all of the New Yorkers that are in New York right now, all because of that conversation in the parking lot. Most of you would have just walked by and said nothing, or most of you would have said, yeah, I'm cleaning my car, have a nice day. But no, I saw that as an opportunity, okay? My Buffalo team, 65 people in Buffalo up there, called up Geico for car insurance. I asked if I can get a quote on my condo. They put a guy on the phone named Dan Westfall. Out of 75 people that I could answer the phone, Dan answers the phone. I always ask people on the phone, where are they from? He said, I'm from Buffalo. I said, no way. I was really excited. He goes, what do you mean? Why are you so excited? I said, oh my God. I was like, you got to be kidding me. I was just talking to my mom last night, and we're opening my business in Buffalo in 3 weeks. And I said, where the heck am I going to find somebody 6 hours away? And now I'm talking to a guy on the phone from Buffalo. He goes, what do you do? I said, well, I make money off the regulation of energy. And that's when he said, well, my mom works for NYSAC. My dad works for airlines. I understand deregulation. And I said, well, listen, I could have you become one of the first business owners in Buffalo in this company and really make you a leader in this business. And he didn't say much because I guess, Geico records the phone calls, but he actually emailed me 2 minutes later and said, here's my personal email. I'm really excited. I'm really motivated. I'm 24 years old. I already work 2 jobs plus a part-time job. I want to make 6 figures. Tell me about this business. What's it called? And I wouldn't tell him what it was about. I got him to the webinar. He signed up a month before it actually even opened because they were going to reset his clock. Unfortunately, he couldn't put any bills in to get a check. So as he started telling his friends about it, obviously they're going to tell him it was a scam. And I had to actually get Phil and Darren on the phone to convince him that it wasn't a scam because now he was doubting it. But once they opened, he got his first check, and the rest is history. As you guys know, Ryan right now is killing Buffalo because of me getting him over a phone call. Now, we also have a guy who didn't do much, but he signed up on the next day. He was giving me an estimate on, not estimate, he was actually a, what do you call it? I was buying a rental property, and he was the guy that actually comes in and tells you, I don't know if he tells you how much it's worth. He kind of looks for termites, and I don't know what you call it. He was a home inspector. There you go. He was a home inspector. As he's filling out the home inspection sheet, guys, and he's asking me to write him a check for $400 or whatever it was, I whip out my phone, I start talking about my business, and I start saying, look at this business opportunity. We get paid on people paying their light bills. He understood network marketing. He had done it in the past, but he never has succeeded. And he was just blown away with the fact that there was actually a network marketing business that had a life essential service in it rather than a product. 12 hours later, I'm in the shower. My phone goes cha-ching. I get out of the shower. I'll never forget. And I'm like, I just made $275 while I was in the shower. I was a senior director, okay? That's how that happened. Luckily, I pulled my phone out. Wait till the end, though. I let him do his thing, and I pulled it out, and I just, you never know. That was it. That was the only time I ever showed him the presentation on my phone with the slideshow. Who else do we have? We have Raymond, who I personally sponsored last week. Raymond, I met in the parking deck. We started talking about cars, and then I saw him at the gym. We started talking about stocks and other things. I just started telling a little bit about my life, and one day after about 6 weeks of not mentioning Ignite, I said, hey, Raymond, what are you doing Saturday? There's an event that I'm going to be hosting, I'm speaking at, and I basically would like you to go there because there's going to be a lot of great people there. You can meet some people, build your network. And he said, you know what, man, I've been looking to do something and meet people. I'll be there. He showed up. He brought a friend. They both joined, okay? That's how Raymond signed up. I had a kid named Kevin I knew in high school. He came to my mom's spa for services. As he was walking out, he asked me how I was doing. This is a year ago or so. And I said, I'm doing great. I said, I got this business where I'm making money off energy. And he goes, how much do you make? And I quickly just showed him like a little screenshot of what I was making. He goes, you got to be kidding me. He went home, and for a week, he thought about it. He said he thought about it. He thought about it. And then just one day at work, he was frustrated, and he called me and said, look, can you come over and show me this thing? And boom, sponsored him, okay? A little bit of intrigue there. You know, talked about it a little bit. I normally don't ever have to show any money for people to sign up, but for him that day, he asked me what I made. I had a little picture of a couple of my checks on my phone. I just gave him a little screenshot, okay? And car accident. I got my Lexus got hit by a young girl who had a baby seat in the back. No baby in the car, though, luckily, and old car. And I felt really bad for them. And I called her back. I said, look, I'm calling you to see if you're okay. Actually, I texted her. I'm sorry. I said, I'm texting you to see if you're okay, how you're feeling. No big deal. My car will get fixed. I noticed you had a baby, probably. And nothing wrong with your car, because I had an old car, but I can tell you guys could use, you know, possibly a newer car, and I'm sure you could use more money, and I can help you. I said, I've been very successful in helping people make money. Would you be willing to let me show you an opportunity that could change your life? And then she said, I'll talk to my husband and we'll get back to you. Well, spoke to her husband. The husband said, have him come over to the house. So it's funny because the week before, her husband was cursing me out on the phone, saying that it wasn't his wife's fault and they weren't going to pay for it and all this other stuff. And I was a little bit upset because it wasn't my fault. It was her fault. But I let it behind. I put the goodness first, and I ended up becoming friends with the guy when I went to his house. And to make a long story short, they joined. They actually joined. But I was nice enough not to personally sponsor them because of the fact that I believed that if I wasn't going to do a meeting for Michelle, which was the Sign Up Fumi, I wouldn't have never met that guy. They never would have smashed my car. So I didn't think it was fair for me to personally sponsor them. Just because, again, I wouldn't have been at Dunkin' Donuts if it wasn't for Michelle. So it was fair for me to give it to Michelle. That's what I did, okay? Two more we can one more I can think of. Rebecca, who's in Pittsburgh, destroying Pittsburgh for me, okay? This is a great story. In 2007, I was the IFBB North American National Qualifiers. I took 10th place. There was a lady on walking around. It was Rebecca. She had really short hair, and she looked phenomenal. And I think she actually forgot to go on stage when they called her out. She was busy on her phone or something, and she missed her show, meaning like she got to the show, she did all this work, never got a chance to actually go on stage and compete, and she was disqualified, basically. I felt really bad because I thought she looked amazing. And this is back in 2007, so what, it's about 7 years ago. And I saw her then after the show walking like 6 blocks in front of me and by herself, and I was with somebody else, and I don't know, there was just some kind of connection that I felt. I had to like say something to her, but I didn't say anything to her. So I went home and I tried to find her on MySpace because I went through all the listings of the competitors, and I found her picture. It said Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I said, Pittsburgh? I said, that's like 6 hours away. I'm never going to end up going to Pittsburgh, but let me write this person and just tell her that I think she looked amazing and that, I feel bad that she didn't get a chance to go on stage, and couldn't find her on MySpace. So in 2009 or 10, I tried Facebook and didn't find her. A lot of times I look at my bodybuilding photos and I'm reminded about stuff. So I must have been looking at something and it reminded me of her. Well, in 2010 or 11, I finally actually looked her up on Facebook, and I found her, and I wrote her an email, and I said, hey, I went to the Cleveland show. I was competing. You were there. You looked amazing. She said, oh my God, yeah, that was me. I was competing, but I don't remember you, obviously, because she never really met me. So I was a stalker, I guess. But we actually became friends. We hit it off really well, and we talked a lot about, just stuff about bodybuilding. And then I tried to show her Ignite over the phone, over a webinar in 2011 when they opened up in Pittsburgh, but she just didn't want anything to do with it. She told me she wasn't interested. She wasn't a salesperson. She couldn't do it. Well, a year later, she sees my success, and now she's a little more intrigued. We still had never met in person. So I drove to Texas. I drove to Pittsburgh to go and do meetings for Jackie and Harvey Oliver, Renee out there, Richardson, and Andre Webb's team. And while I was out there in Pittsburgh, I said, you live in Pittsburgh. Let me meet you for lunch. And I met her for lunch, and I showed her the business plan, and she basically said, what the heck, I'll sign up. Now, she does say it's because I was cute and Greek, but I don't really think that's the reason. But anyway, I'll take it, okay? But she did sign up, guys, and she's a very motivated, ambitious person. I mean, she just got her pro card after like 10, 15 years of competing. She finally got her pro card. She never quit, and she finally got it, which says a lot about somebody because most people would have gave up, And the thing is that when she signed up, she went to switch her mom and her brother. They both said no to her. And I was like, oh, man, I'm going to lose her. She's going to quit on me. But she didn't quit. She got her 3 and 10, actually, in 12 days. And the rest is history. She's on fire right now. And who would have known that, 2007, so that's the great thing about this business, guys. You never know where somebody's going to come back. Like I sponsored a restaurant owner yesterday. Okay. I knew the guy when I was 23. I've seen the guy cutting his lawn. I never approached him. Because he was so successful. He owns 3 banks, CVS, 68 buildings, 2 restaurants. Like he ain't gonna do this business. Most Italian and Greek guys that own restaurants don't do this kind of stuff. But now his life's in a different place, and he's really good friends with my mom. So my mom spoke to him and told him how well I was doing, and because he's he's going through a divorce, life is changing. He wants to get out of the restaurant business. His life is in a different place, and he needs some friendships to get his mind off things and some new people in his life. And for him, this would be a great opportunity for that. He would never have signed up in my director code. One, I wouldn't have been able to show him enough success, and he needs to see that. And he wouldn't have probably trusted the business works. But because he trusted me, though, from knowing me for 20 years, basically, not even maybe 17 years, he signed up yesterday, okay? So the point is, it took me 2.5 years of doing this business until somebody like that would actually trust me enough. And he even had to see my tax returns yesterday. He wanted to see my tax returns. He didn't believe me that was all the money I was making, okay? And I would never show my tax returns to anybody. That's private. But I've known him for, since I was 23 years old. I figured, okay, well, if that's what it takes, let me just show him a quick thing on my phone here and just to prove to him that I made that kind of money, because he just couldn't fathom that you could make that much money in network marketing. So it is what it is. But at the end of the day, use Facebook as a tool. They're watching you. They might not like your post. They might not say anything, but they will come back, okay? Sponsored Michelle last week. 2.5 years later, I texted her 2.5 years ago. She never got back to me. She liked my post. I told her about the business. She never responded. 2.5 years later, she sees a license plate that says Ignite on it, and because of that, she calls me. She texts me on Facebook. I call her. Boom, another person, okay? You just don't know. You just don't know, but you got to stay in the game long enough. And again, all my success has come from situations like this. Facebook, the gym, parking lots, okay? Just events where you meet people. You're always going to meet new people, always. They're going to come into your life. You never expect it, okay? I've sponsored 6 people in the last 14 days. I was on an 11-week drought. I don't even know where the heck these 6 people came from, but they evolved, because I believe when you're in this business and you're positive and you keep moving forward and you keep succeeding and you keep, even if you don't succeed, as long as you keep pushing, and people see you're pushing, and people see stuff on your life moving, the energy gets brought together, guys, and somehow it always works out, okay? That's it. I hope this helps you open up your eyes to ways to sponsor people and get out of your comfort zone. Become comfortable with being uncomfortable. That is your biggest thing, okay? Keep in mind, if I would have bodybuilded and went to the gym once a week, I wouldn't be in the shape that I'm in, okay? If I didn't diet 5 days a week, I wouldn't be in the shape that I'm in. If you're running your business 1 day a week or running your business, that way, the same way that I would have run my business, I would have ran myself in the gym, you're going to be failing. You're not going to be doing as well, okay? The parallel is the same. My bodybuilding career and my Ignite business, I run them the same. Full speed ahead, full throttle ahead. Okay, when I realized that it was going to take me 5 to 7 years to become a top bodybuilder, I went to the gym twice a day, or I worked out 6 or 7 days a week. I caught myself up to the guys who were ahead of me, and I beat them. Same thing's happening at Ignite. There's people that have been in the business for 8 years. They're showing the plan 2 days a week, now maybe 3, maybe 1, because they become very successful. They kind of slow down, which I don't blame them. I'll probably slow down one day too when I have things I want to do and enjoy. But my point is, I realized that it was going to take me 5 years to become a top money earner, or maybe 7. That's what I figured. But I figured if I can do presentations 7 days a week for a whole entire year or two, or double up, I could probably catch up to them a lot faster. And that's the exact same thing I did. And I took that from my bodybuilding career, okay? Anyway, guys, have a great day, and I hope this helped.